Hey y'all, welcome back to my rereading the Warrior Cat series as an adult. This is part 2. If you missed part 1, it'll be linked below if you want to go check that out first. I am loving rereading this. I am on the second book of the original series, The Prophecy Begins, which is called Fire and Ice. If you have not read the Warrior Cat series, or you need a refresher from when you read them as a kid, go back to part 1. I do a recap and kind of talk more about the series in that one. Part 1 is probably going to be the longest part. I'm still trying to figure out what all I want to include in this series, how much I want to show of everything. This video is probably going to be shorter, maybe the shortest out of all of them. I've never done a series on my YouTube channel before, or one like this that's long form, or a reading series. So I'm still trying to figure out what you guys want to see, how much you guys want to see of it, if you want to see more of just me reading, reactions, talking more about stuff. So if you did enjoy the first part and you're enjoying this part, 1, go ahead and hit the like button, and 2, please let me know in the comments what you guys are wanting to see. I'm genuinely wanting some guidance on here, constructive criticism, if you want me to show more of something, or you didn't think I showed enough of something, you want me to talk about something. If I yap too much about one thing, because I like to yap, let me know. So yeah, now that that's out of the way, let's get into reading Fire and Ice. As I was reading, I was interrupted by some, I guess, fans of the Warrior Cat series, because they had a lot to say as they were walking past me. I also got to witness some drama because apparently, I don't know the situation, but that one duck has beef with that bird because every single time it saw it, it would run after it. Now that I've let you know the duck drama going down at the local park, we can get back to reading. Ooh, I've got Typo. I'm just kidding, but I just noticed it and I was like, ooh, the Typo. But I mean, lots of books have typos, not anywhere near the worst typo I've seen in a book. Now that I read a lot of romantasy, which a lot of the times is enemies to lovers, I'm starting to read this like, I'm on chapter 19, and White Storm asked Fireheart to take Cinderpaw out to go patrol, and it's reading romantasy right now, and it's giving enemies to lovers. She's already stopped hating him at this point, but he doesn't know that, so he's like, oh god, she's not gonna like this, like having to go out on a patrol with me. Okay, tell me this does not remind you of any romantasy where they're training and like slowly beginning to not hate each other. White Storm asked him to take her out on the patrol, and he's like, just me and Cinderpaw, he asked. White Storm looked at him in surprise. Cinderpaw's almost a warrior, and you can take care of yourself, he replied. White Storm had misunderstood Fireheart's concern. He wasn't afraid of being attacked by enemy cats. He was afraid Cinderpaw hated him as much as Dustpaw did, but Fireheart didn't correct him. Does Cinderpaw know? You can tell her, meowed White Storm. Fireheart's ears twitched. He didn't think Cinderpaw would be too thrilled by the idea of patrolling with him, but he didn't argue. Fireheart sighed and padded over to where Cinderpaw was sitting with the other apprentices. Cinderpaw, Fireheart shifted uneasily. White Storm wants you to patrol with me at dawn tomorrow. He waited for a resentful hiss, but Cinderpaw merely looked up at him and meowed, fine. Even Dustpaw looked surprised. Okay, echoed Fireheart, taken aback. Meet you at sunrise then. Sunrise, agreed Cinderpaw. Fireheart decided to share the good news about Cinderpaw's lack of hostility with Graystripe. I have finished reading Fire and Ice, and I am still very much enjoying rereading this series. I didn't film as much of me talking about it as I did in the first part. I'm gonna be completely honest, I finished Into the Wild and Fire and Ice before I posted part 1, and so I was doing something different on this one in case people thought I did too much on the first one, so I really shortened it down. So that's why this part is so short. So now that you know why this video was so short, I want to talk about it real quick now that I've read it all. I got a notebook that was on clearance that has cats on it, so I could literally write down my notes for the series. Because I have it on my phone, but I like writing it down more because it's easier for me to read when I'm filming. So I will say I did catch a couple typos. It wasn't just the one I showed, but it's fine. I honestly don't care. That's not anywhere near the worst typo I've seen in a book. In fact, one time I saw like the editing note left in a published book. This has been at least a decade since my edition was published, so I'm sure that's been corrected now. But it was just kind of fun to, oh, they accidentally wrote Firepaw instead of Fireheart, kind of thing. And there's another thing. I wanted to yell at Fireheart. Why did he not tell Blue Star what he overheard Tiger Claw talking about? So, for context, if you don't know what I'm talking about, in the first book, Into the Wild, Firepaw then hears Tiger Claw lying about Ravenpaw. I think it was something like he went off and he really didn't, so he was trying to make Ravenpaw look like a traitor. But I guess Firepaw forgot about it or something, because he didn't tell Blue Star that. He just said, oh, Ravenpaw saw Tiger Claw kill Redtail. So of course Blue Star's like, no, that's my deputy, he would never do that. Maybe Ravenpaw is just misremembering, he was traumatized. But it's not just Ravenpaw's word that Tiger Claw is being sus. Firepaw, or Fireheart now, heard Tiger Claw lying to 2 other cats, which I'm pretty sure those 2 other cats are part of the last book, trying to take over kind of thing. I think it's Darkstripe and Longtail. So we also meet Fireheart's sister, his kitty pet sister in this book, and her name is Princess, which I had a cat named Princess. She was my first cat. Right there, it got me. I did remember as I was reading that, because he started having these memories of when he was a kitten, so I was thinking, oh, don't we meet like his mother or something? I was wrong, it was his sister. And the part where she gives her kitten, her firstborn, to Fireheart to take back to the clan so he can grow up and be a warrior like Fireheart, she's like, I want to pick where this one goes and I want him to go with you. Made me want to cry. The Gray Stripe and Silverstream star-crossed lovers, I did remember as I was reading. I'm pretty sure this is what happens. So right now, Gray Stripe is pretty much in love with this other cat from River Clan. He's in Thunder Clan, so you can't be doing that. Whose name's Silverstream. I'm pretty sure I remember that Gray Stripe leaves Thunder Clan, joins River Clan to be with Silverstream. Silverstream dies, and then Gray Stripe comes back to Thunder Clan. I also didn't read, when I was reading Warrior Cats originally, I didn't read his manga that he had, because Gray Stripe has his own manga, like, spin-off series before he comes back to Thunder Clan. I will be reading that this time, but I haven't read those before. And I don't like, because I love their friendship, Gray Stripe and Firehearts. I love their friendship, so I didn't like them fighting in this book. But I don't mean that in, I don't like this part of the book, I mean I just don't like the characters fighting. And I'm like 99% sure that Firestar when he becomes Firestar, he makes Gray Stripe his deputy, because I remember that in the New Prophecy, I'm pretty sure. Again, keyword, I'm pretty sure. Oh, as you can tell in the clip, I knew what was coming when Cinderpaw was about to get hit by the car. Again, I did not remember it happening so quickly. When she mentioned wanting to go see the Thunderpath at the beginning of this book, I was like, yeah, there's some foreshadowing going on right there, because she gets hit. I wasn't 100% sure if it was this book or if it was the next book, but it was this book. Fireheart told her not to, and then she went anyway to go find Tiger Claw to go warn him. I was like, oh yeah, this is when it happens. And it was just reading it, and then they didn't know if she was gonna make it or not. I will say something else about it now that I'm reading it through an adult lens. I did like the messaging through that, because Cinderpaw, who becomes Cinderpelt eventually, I do remember that. Again, I can't say 100%, but I'm like 99% sure she's one of the narrators in the New Prophecy. That's why I remember her so well. She becomes a medicine cat, but she was training to be a warrior. That's what she wanted to do. But then she gets hurt and she can't train to be a warrior anymore, so she feels lost and she doesn't know what to do anymore. She has a hurt leg, so she can't fight really, and her eventually finding her new calling or new way in life, I know is, how do I say this? Cinderpaw right now. She becomes ThunderClan's medicine cat after Yellowfang dies. I think it's a good thing for kids to read about, because when you read, you develop more empathy, which that's just like a proven thing, not just kids, but just in general. And it empowers that person, or it empowers her more, saying just because you can't do X doesn't mean you can't do Y. And just because maybe you got injured and you can't do this anymore, you can still find something else that brings you joy in life. You can still have purpose in your life. Just because it wasn't what you thought it was going to be, that doesn't mean that it's not worth living. And I say that because there's a part where ThunderClan is attacked and Cinderpaw is still healing from her injury, and she's like, I can't fight, I can't attack. She wants to. She's like, I can't defend my clan. She has to go hide because she can't. She's still hurt. And she tells, I think it's Fireheart, she tells him that I wish that they had just attacked and killed me, because she couldn't fight. She couldn't do what she thought she was meant to do. Yellowfang kind of gives her a new purpose. She's really smart. Right now at this point, she's kind of become Yellowfang's apprentice, even though not officially. Yellowfang gives her kind of a new outlook on life a little bit, gives her a new purpose. And I just think that's a big thing to show younger readers. I know what I'm trying to say, but sometimes I just can't form it. I can probably write it better than I can speak it. What I'm saying. You know what? Speaking of that, let me just read what I wrote because it might make more sense. I kept thinking when she was talking about how she almost wishes the cats attacking would have killed her and how she is useless because she can't be a warrior. About kids who would have felt seen through her character, or how friends and family may understand someone better who has had a life-changing accident, illness, or injury. It shows the reader the lows someone can feel. However, Cinderpaw/Cinderpelt's character lets them see that you are not useless or worthless just because of that. You can find and make a new path in life after, and it's not the end. I know she does end up dying. I wrote this a little while ago, so I didn't know that's where that went. Oh my god. I had this like whole message. I know she's dead, but like it just caught me off guard. I said she does end up dying, but in this instance, it's showing overcoming something and resilience as well as empathy for others in a situation like this. She dies, I'm pretty sure, unrelated to this. I think that better, aside from the end, I think that better explains what I was saying. So those are my quick thoughts on Fire and Ice. The next book in the series is called Forest of Secrets, and I have already started it. That video will be different from this one. I did this video the way I did because the first part was so long and I felt like I talked a lot. So this one I wanted to do the kind of opposite to see which way people were feeling, which direction I should take these videos. So the next one's probably going to be more of a happy medium. I'm also going to start ranking the books as I'm going at the end of each video. Right now, I've only reread 2 of the books, so we have 2 books to rank. Fire and Ice, I am ranking at number 2 because I did enjoy it, but it did feel a little bit slower, and I know that's kind of opposite of what I said in the first book because everything happened so quickly at the end, but I feel like not as much stuff happened in this book, and it's still a good book. I'm not bashing it by any means. Into the Wild is still my favorite out of the original series. So we have Into the Wild at number 1, and then we have Fire and Ice at number 2, which I will update the ranking at the end of each video as I progress throughout this series. Also, comment how you want me to kind of post about the spin-offs and stuff. Right now, I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna reread the original series first and then the New Prophecy, and then I'll go back and reread the prequels, the manga, because I have read some of the prequels or the supersets, but I have not read any of the manga. I don't think I've read any of the novellas. TLDR, tell me what you guys want to see in this series as it progresses. And an update for those of you who watched part 1, I did hit the like goal, what I said, to buy the New Prophecy figures from the official Warrior Cats website, so I will be doing that. So you might want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss it when I upload. I'm not sure which part I'm going to be getting those figures in, so you just might want to make sure you watch them all. If you want to see the New Prophecy figures and me buying Warrior Cat merch. I've seen the comments that some of you guys have done this as an adult, you reread the series. Tell me what you thought about it, what book you're on. I would love to hear. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all your comments. This has already been really fun to do, and I can't wait to continue this throughout the rest of the series. So I will see you guys in part 3, Forest of Secrets.